Hey there, welcome back. It's a brand new year. We just closed out the 2024 holiday season. And if you're anything like me, now we need to refocus. I'd say many of us are kind of looking at what do we do to get back on track? I want to help you with a really solid plan so that you're not dieting, you're not questioning, you feel super solid in how you live your life to eat right, exercise, do all the things to support yourself as you move forward into a brand new year. We're going to call this No BS Fat Loss because that's what I'm all about. I'm Connie Rutledge. I'm a fat loss specialist. I'm a menopausal fat loss specialist. I want to help you get back on track. I want to help you feel like you want to feel and you should feel as a menopausal woman. And let's take the BS out of it. We're not going to be calorie counting. We're not going to be counting points. We might focus on macros because you want to make sure you're getting enough of the right kind of foods in. But we're going to take the BS out of it. You're going to lose fat. And you're going to feel like you should be feeling. And this is going to be a lifestyle. It's no longer a diet. Losing fat is difficult. Losing fat is hard, but it's not impossible. As you age, it pretty much stands to reason that things change. Your body, your hormones, your habits change. And a lot of times it's just about, paying attention and getting focused so that you can live in a body that you want to live in. And that's important. Being comfortable in your skin, I'd say, is probably one of the most important things ever. And as we just got off of a, roller coaster holiday season, it's time to get back to basics. It's time to really focus in on what works for you and what makes you feel best without deprivation, without feeling like you're missing out. I want you to be confident in your fat loss plan. If your waist circumference is over 35 inches, it's really time to pay attention. If you've been told you're pre-diabetic, it's essential for you to pay attention. If you've been gaining, 5 pounds a year or even 1 pound a year for the past 20 years, it's time to pay attention. Give yourself the focus, give yourself the motivation, give yourself the green light to really tap into resources that make sense so that you can be the best you possible. Optimization in all things fat loss, well, that's where it's at. And maintaining that fat loss. So here's a couple cues, here's a couple tips, here's some things that you don't want to miss out on. What are your hunger cues? Are you hungry? Are you physically hungry? I mean, not are you bored, not are you looking for some excitement, not are you looking for some dopamine, but are you physically hungry? And what does that feel like? Yeah, we've all had hunger pains, and that's no fun. And sometimes you just maybe need a drink of water. But true hunger, where you are literally, feeling distressed because you need some food, that's important. And that's a cue that you need to take and feed yourself. Most women who have issues with fat loss, especially if you've been a chronic dieter, is because you maybe are under eating. And being hungry, well, that is a cue that your body will give you to make sure that you are eating enough. And that's a big topic today. How do you feel? Consciously checking in to make sure that your body is needing food and feeding your body well. That'll go a long way in consistent fat loss, in maintaining fat loss, and never needing to diet again. Simple does not mean easy. It is a simple fact. If you're hungry, you need to eat. But eating, for many of us, well, if you've struggled with fat loss and you've carried extra weight around and you're not well versed at really sticking to the plan or sticking to the cues that your body's giving you, that's not easy. So it takes some consciousness, it takes some mindfulness, and you need to pay attention. But if you have that eating plan in place and you're following it, then chances are, with a little effort and a little attention to detail, we can achieve a simple fat loss plan that works forevermore. The thing that's worked for me over these years is to get my protein in. If I don't eat the amount of protein my body needs, which is about 80 grams a day, sometimes it's more, but if I don't shoot for about 40 grams of protein twice a day, then I'm not going to feel right. And I'm going to typically want a snack or want to figure out, probably eat more than I need to so that I can feel good in my body. I typically start my day with some apple cider vinegar mixed in water. It's great for the microbiome. The acetic acid is huge. So a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in a cup of water. You should hydrate every morning before your coffee. So I typically start my day with a little vinegar and water. At least several days a week I'll do that. If I'm not doing vinegar water, I just do plain water. I take my thyroid medication, I wait a few minutes, and then I have my black coffee. And I feel pretty darn good. I go in, I do my red light therapy, I do my deep breathing, I do some meditation, and then sometimes I feel hungry. And if I do feel hungry at that moment, I kind of assess, how was my eating yesterday? If I ate too many carbohydrates yesterday, I'm feeling hungry in the morning, and I will decide whether I have breakfast or I let myself be a little bit hungry and continue my intermittent fast. Because with the black coffee, I can maintain that intermittent fast. Typically I stop eating at about 7 o'clock at night, maybe before that. But by 7 in the morning, I've had a 12-hour fast, and I can decide, what happens next. I like to go about 16 hours in the fasted state most days of the week. Now, I can caveat all of this. As a menopausal woman, intermittent fasting, I can do 7 days a week in and week out. I don't always do that, but often I do, because that's kind of my lifestyle and that's where I feel best. So having my black coffee in the morning and not eating anything except maybe my essential amino acids, the perfect aminos or optimal aminos, those are the supplements that I can take that give me some fuel without calories, and I can continue on in the fasted state with my 2 servings. And yep, I do. I take 10 of those almost every single day. I do that and my electrolyte water with my ketones, and I'm happy until 11 or 1 o'clock, depending on how the day goes. Today, when I opened my first feeding window, I started it with some Keto Chow, a meal replacement shake. I mixed it with about 2 to 3 tablespoons of heavy cream and maybe 2 cups of water and ice. And that is a really good start to the day. It tastes great. I always add a little extra protein. So today I had a couple ounces of a really quality salami and a piece of cheddar cheese. And I had a small carrot. So that was my lunch feeding window. That was a couple hours ago. I still feel really satisfied. It kind of ticked all the boxes for me as far as the amount of fat that I ate. I had a few carbohydrates with the carrot, super quality carbs with that carrot, and the protein in the cheese and salami just helped kind of boost me and kick me into that 40 grams of protein that I really strive for in that first feeding window. Now, mind you, I already had 30 grams of protein early in the day with the essential amino acid tablets, and I take 10 a day. If you have trouble getting your protein in, if you're vegetarian, if you feel like you just can't digest the protein properly, I highly recommend you getting on board with the essential amino acid tablets. There are some powders that you can mix into, water. I don't tend to like the flavor of that, so I just do the essential amino tablets. I do have a little trick because I have had clients say that it's too hard to swallow, you have to drink too much water. They're larger tablets. So I take a mouthful, very small mouthful of either plain Greek yogurt or ricotta cheese. And with each little tiny bite, I pop 2 of the tablets in my mouth and swallow it all. I do that with all of my supplements because I do have, I just don't like to be waterlogged with so much water in my stomach as I'm popping supplements and trying to wash them down. So I will always take my supplements with just a small bite or a meal, a small bite of food, or I take them at mealtime, like my multivitamins, my digestive enzymes, my vitamin D. And I have a recommendation for all my supplements as a menopausal woman. I don't take a lot of supplements, but I do think that many supplements, like your multivitamin, your vitamin D, if you struggle with energy, your B complex, I take some liver supplements sometimes when I feel a rundown. So I do have a list. It's on my Fullscript page. My Fullscript page is linked in the description box. You can find any professional grade supplement there. I highly recommend that you find out what supplements are right for you. And don't go overboard because supplements are expensive. And if you're eating whole food, if you're living right, then we can really streamline that supplement stack and get you going so that you feel confident and it's not breaking the bank. So after I close that first feeding window, I want to go several hours before I open that second feeding window. And for me at 63, my weight is where I want it. My energy is good. My muscle is, I have ample muscle because I work at it, but I want to make sure that I'm not feeling hungry in the afternoon before dinner. And the only way that I can make sure I do that is if I eat enough in that first feeding window. So it's not about counting calories. It's about getting the fuel that your body requires. And when you're fat adapted or you are insulin sensitive, then it becomes way easier. And if you're not at that point and you are feeling hungry after your meals, then I want you to definitely pay attention and figure out what you ate and maybe add 10 to 20 grams of protein to that next feeding window and see what happens. You can also try, if you have plenty of protein and low carb, because I typically eat kind of a paleo, keto, more grain-free. I do dairy, but that's the type of diet style that I like and recommend to most of my clients, where we're eating a lot of animal protein and or protein powders that are recommended, And I do have many of them listed on my website or on the description box below. There's the Noble, which is beef isolate protein and organs, or the Equip Prime Protein, which is another beef isolate protein without the organs. And they come in many flavors. They're flavored with stevia, and they're quite good. And you can mix those in water. You can mix those in yogurt, make a smoothie or a protein pudding. You can bake with them. Anyway, it's an alternative to eating meat every meal, or add it to your feeding window and have it as a sweet treat. Because they are sweetened and they are quite tasty. So that's an option for increasing your protein. But if you've done the increasing protein and you're still feeling hungry a couple hours after that feeding window shuts down, then maybe you want to add a couple tablespoons of fat. Whether you are doing nut butter and you have a spoonful of peanut butter after that meal, whether you do a fat bomb, because there are, look up fat bombs if you're unfamiliar, and oh my gosh, there's a huge recipe source in, all over the place. You can add a couple pats of butter to your meal. Some extra olive oil or avocado oil. Say you're dressing a salad. We've been so shackled by the, diet dogma about low fat. And then, I went back on the other extreme with too high a fat, and that didn't work either. So find that macronutrient ratio that works for you. I call it a fuel mix. It's really important. You don't have to eat elaborate meals. In fact, simple is better. Check in with your hunger level. Check in with your gut and just kind of dial it in to make sure that you know what works for you. You can put that meal on repeat for a week if you need to really kind of settle in and get clarity on what your body needs to eat in order to feel satiated, comfortable, and lose the fat that you need to lose. So we've got intermittent fasting. We've got paying close attention to the amount of protein that you've got going on. And if you're hungry after meals and you just haven't been able to eat enough, then try adding a couple tablespoons of fat, even starting with 1 extra tablespoon of fat, and or another 10 grams of protein in the fuel mix to see what's going on. I mean, there's also a possibility that if you're being so uber careful with your carbohydrates, that you add another 10 grams of carbs. I mean, does that mean another carrot and a tomato and a couple bites of a potato? Those are things that might really go far in your diet to really shore up and support your satiety. If you're not metabolically stable yet, you'll get there. Consistency is the key. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're struggling with your, resolve, and you just can't quite get a hold of yourself, you find yourself in the kitchen eating things that you never planned to eat, you might be a great candidate for the GLP-1 microdosing program that I offer. It is a peptide, the GLP-1s like Ozempic, those things are huge in giving you some stability, kind of rebooting, kind of shutting off that food noise that is just so hard to master. Your willpower is one thing, but the GLP-1 peptides in a microdose could be the answer that you're looking for. You deserve to lose some fat. You deserve to feel good in your body and look the way you want to look. And if you've tried all this and you just can't quite get it together and succeed, then there's a real possibility that using a tool, and that's what it is, it's a tool, using a peptide to help you regain access to that control, to get you moving in the right direction so that you can succeed. You can feel and look the way you want to. You can lose the fat, and it's no BS. It's no nonsense. It's very doable. When you follow these simple steps, success can be yours. You know what you want to do, but doing it sometimes doesn't seem possible. How many years have you been struggling? Isn't it time for you to be successful at the fat loss game, even in menopause? I hope I motivate you. I hope I give you tips and tricks that are doable, that you can follow without any question, that you can feel comfortable and safe with, and you can enjoy long-term, sustainable fat loss. You deserve it. If this sounds good to you, schedule a jumpstart with me. We can get you started. I highly recommend it. My clients are always letting me know how easy it is to enjoy a solid plan for fat loss and beyond. Aging is aging, and you can definitely age gracefully with the right tools. Join me and my community as we move forward together in 2025 for amazing success. Come for the fat loss, stay for the longevity. We are in this together, ladies. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.